you are probably going to be a very successful computer person. You're going to go through life thinking that girls don't like you because you're a nerd. And I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that that won't be true. It'll be because you're an asshole.
The scene you just watched was from the 2010 film The Social Network, where Jesse Eisenberg plays Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. You can say what his friend Erica uttered to him is applicable to the manosphere as a whole, but I use it to illustrate a different point, which are self-centeredness, immaturity, and the Peter Pan syndrome. And I'm going to do this by painting a large picture, then centering it on one notable YouTuber and critic of mine, SoloTV84. Now, there's no need to elaborate on self-centeredness and immaturity, but the Peter Pan syndrome is an omnipresent character trait in the space. The term first appeared in psychologist Dan Kiley's 1983 book, Peter Pan Syndrome, Men Who Have Never Grown Up. He came up with the idea after treating juvenile delinquents and noticed many of the troubled teenagers struggled with accepting adult responsibilities. The book became a sensation and became a New York Times bestseller for months. Now, the Peter Pan syndrome isn't classified as an official mental health condition, but it's safe to say that many men in the manosphere struggle with it. When I first came across the group, I felt like I was in high school all over again. Never could I have imagined that men in their 30s, 40s, and 50s would still brag about the number of women they slept with. At their stage in life, you would think most of them would be focused on buying a home, advancing in their career, and starting a family. That's what many of my peers who I attended college with are doing right now. Granted, I understand that life happens, and some people are delayed when it comes to these stages in life, but it often seems that these men aren't even trying to get the ball rolling. Some still go out to nightclubs weekly and are oblivious that they have become the creepy old guy. Others advocate pump and dump well into your 40s and 50s. Their attitudes are even worse. When responding to criticism, they hurl homophobic and juvenile insults. Many of these men are average Joes who desire some level of fame and attention, which is why they often accuse one another of clout chasing. Even a subscriber and cordial critic of mine alluded to this point. He said that he's convinced that YouTube has unwittingly become a place of redemption for losers. Men who lack social acceptance in high school, desire escapism, or seeking a shortcut to fame and fortune gravitate to this space. No matter how small a channel is, even if someone can get 50 views, it reinforces to them that their opinions matter because people are at least listening. Although some might seek a sense of community, the ego booster they get from subscribers eventually goes to their head.
Nigga, you better, boy, if you don't watch your mouth, my nigga, it's gonna be some problems up in here. This is my I'll put niggas on this bitch. I'll put that nigga on, and I'll put you niggas in my as well. So you niggas better start showing me the respect that I deserve, or y'all can shut the up and ride with that nigga.
Some of these men obviously lack power over others in their actual lives, so they wield the artificial power that they have in this space. But I also made this video to address one individual who embodies all the character traits I stated in the beginning. Now, if you don't know who SoloTV84 is, for starters, he's a nearly 40-year-old man from Minneapolis, Minnesota, possibly going through a midlife crisis.
I don't know who the you are, nor do I give a care, but do you think that's gonna get you pussy points? Answer the question.
I don't care about that, mate.
Okay, then shut the up.
Janae blocks you. You make 40 videos about her. You try to get in contact with her. She's blocked you, so you send her money.
Bruh.
Admittedly, despite disagreeing with him on a multitude of topics, I admire his content for being diverse, which range from general manosphere topics, dating, reaction videos, to stories about his life. On nearly every live stream, he mentioned women who he has slept with or is going to sleep with.
My nigga, I'm not stressing over Janae. I better bitches than Janae. I can post the receipts. I don't give a Janae says I'm an incel. All these are 2020 receipts. Let this shit get to my head. Maybe it was because I had 2 pogs in my bed. I don't know.
To the bedroom where you blow her back out and she's calling you daddy like I did last night. Facts.
By the way, that clip could have been much longer if he had kept all his videos up. He paints an image as if a vast amount of people are against him, and he constantly vanquished them all.
You got 4 different people coming at me. Now, and then you also have these incels coming at me. If I'm not one of the nicest niggas in this space, then I don't know who is.
I have no idea what type of status he has in the community in Minneapolis, but he often seems upset he doesn't get much recognition in the manosphere as he thinks he should. One reason why I declined his interview invites, which he sent me several, is because I know he'll attempt to take credit for any success I achieve and insist I was a nobody until he interviewed me. The history between Solo and I started around the time I published an article about SYSBM. He tweeted at me, I responded, and then the insults began. He even went on to my Instagram page and insisted I was quote-unquote suspect because I had 2 photographs with 2 men.
In a live stream, I mentioned something where I was questioning his sexuality because he's got some suspect pictures of him hugged up with other dudes and him making, these meals.
But if he did the extremely difficult task of reading the descriptions, he would have noticed that one was my roommate and I at an Indianapolis Colts game, and the other was a person I met in DC when we and 102 other students received a $20,000 scholarship. His critiques of me have literally been lies, misinterpretations, and projections.
And then he had the audacity he had the audacity to be like, oh, she's a broke bitch, blah, 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 blah. And really, he was talking about himself. He was projecting. That's all he does is project. That's all he does is project.
He accused me of trying to dox him, insisted I wanted to be him, believed I was trying to go mainstream because I put his name in one of the tags of a video, as if he's that significant. Accused me of getting footage from his Patreon page, and insisted one video I made about Janae Amore was an attempt to cape for her because I somehow desired her.
But really, he was talking about himself. He was projecting. That's all he does is project. That's all he does is project.
His response videos have been straight asinine and are indicative of the immaturity in the space. Here are a few clips.
He's very emotionally fragile. And I say that because, he takes a lot of things personal and holds on to it. And I guess he had reached out to a couple guys that he admired. Now remember, I wasn't one of them. And the guys, he wanted to do an interview with them or something like that. And everybody said no, because we don't, nobody knows who he is, right? In this space, a lot of people aren't going to do interviews with nobodies. He wants to be a husband, the way he takes those pictures of him cooking proudly. Now ask yourself, this guy claims to get black women, then why isn't he with one now? But the need for black women's validation is strong in him. The black women on his channel, that's the most attention he's ever gotten in his life from black women. He doesn't have a girlfriend. He's a cooking cell.
But really, he was talking about himself. He was projecting. That's all he does is project. That's all he does is project.
Like I said before, many of these charges were so immature that I just laughed at them. It's pretty sad that this dude is nearly 40 years old and behaves like he's in high school, but men like him are omnipresent in this space.